welcome back to your virtual tea time. My name is Tori, and I am your host. As always, thank you for joining us today. I appreciate it. We are in the middle of our California Crush prep as I'm recording this right now. Let's see, it's the beginning of October. I have about a week until I head out to Napa. We have some really exciting things planned. I cannot wait. Some surprises that we have not done before at an event, and I'm anxiously waiting to see how it unravels as the event starts and progresses. So be sure to check us out on social media to check out how the event is going and what it's all about. Desert Classic is sold out, which is our next event coming up in March, but we have some amazing announcements coming soon in the future for 2025 and 2026 and even 2027 events. We have some doozies lined up and I can't wait to share them. So back to the show. Today we have two of the biggest golf ambassadors in Arizona on the show. Now, if you have been to a Desert Classic, you'll recognize them right away, especially if you were lucky enough to see them both in person together at last year's event. I am honored to have Daryl Crawford and his twin brother, Derek Crawford, on the show. As Arizona natives, they grew up in the golf world and have been in the golf industry ever since. Now, as golfers, and I can relate to this too, I think we all go through a phase in our golf journey where we pose the question of, do I want to be some sort of golf professional? Do I want to work in the golf industry, work at a club, at a country club, or even maybe start teaching? I know at one time, I wanted to take some of the LPGA classes and training just to learn. I didn't really know what I wanted to do, but I just wanted to learn as much as possible. And we just love this sport so much that we want it to become our day job. I know I can relate to that. Today's episode is going to be a look inside Daryl and Derek's journey in the golf industry that has gone many different directions over the years. And while they're telling their story, we are also going to get an inside look on what it's like to actually run a golf club. Trust me, I have all the questions that you've been wondering about. We actually got kicked out of the studio because we were into this conversation. So we're going to have Derek and Daryl back on before, but this is I love that they're sharing their journey. I love that we're getting an inside look. I can't wait to get into today's show. But before we do, I want to touch on how pivotal Daryl and Papago's involvement has been for the Desert Classic event. Its continued success wouldn't be possible without their help and support year after year. We really try and duplicate the Papago experience when we go to other properties, and while we've had some amazing events, nothing comes close to the support and encouragement we receive from Daryl and his staff at Papago. We are so lucky to have them, and I can't wait to host our 4th annual Desert Classic next March. Okay, let's dive into today's episode with identical twins, Daryl and Derek Crawford.
Next up on the number one tee.
Daryl likes to, he doesn't know he's doing it, but once he gets going, you have to kind of go, you have to say, hey, Derek, and what are you doing here? Well,
don't forget that you're here.
Yeah, that's all. Because he doesn't know it. He's really good at it. Once he gets going, he's locked in and loaded.
Is this part of growing up? Daryl would just go, he would take up the room and really, be the star, and you'd be in the corner and wondering why no one's paying attention to you, Derek?
Please don't say yes. Please do not.
Exactly. I was just left behind. I'm the older brother.
Older brother by how long?
12 minutes.
12 minutes? Wow, your poor mom. 12 minutes? What were you doing? Up there?
Even more importantly, she had no idea that she was having twins.
Until I came out.
Stop.
Go, ooh, double up.
Wait, why did you say you were the older brother?
I am. I'm 12 minutes older. I came out and then they were like, hey, there's another one in there.
Wow.
Winner, chicken dinner.
Instead of going to two, we have an older sister. Instead of going to two,
They went to
she's gonna
three,
jump to
just like
three,
that,
just like
in
that.
12
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No more 2-on-2 basketball. That's out.
Yeah.
Automatic 3-on-2 fast break. It's over.
It's over. How often do you guys pretend you're each other?
Oh, not often at all.
Not.
Well, Daryl, I would say that I'm going to pretend I'm Daryl if I'm wearing a bow tie. That would probably be it.
But that's all you have to do is wear a bow tie and
then
you're in.
it's, Daryl's, like you said, he is a little more introverted. He sometimes looks at me and goes, "What's wrong with you? Why are you such an idiot?"
I don't say it out loud.
And I'll tell you the one. This would be a good story, but
Okay, I want to hear it.
there was a golf tournament charity event we went to at the Biltmore last week. It had to do with the Hall of Fame. Baseball Hall of Fame, they're raising money for the NBA Hall of Fame. Excuse me, NBA Hall of Fame. So we go to a dinner prior to the night before, and Daryl and I were there with another person that we're going to be playing with. Maybe I've had a couple of cocktails.
You know, it's a party.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So now they get to, hey, well, we're going to start the bidding on the first thing it was for the Final Four tickets and whatever else went with us. And we'll start the bidding at $10,000.
You raise your hand.
Yeah, because I know it's going to be more than 10,000. I know it is.
That makes
And
me
then it's-
nervous, so.
Yeah.
The longest
Yeah.
60 seconds
Yeah. They're like,
of your entire life.
yeah, because Daryl's now thinking, okay, I'm in for the other five for sure.
I'm not thinking.
What has he?
know.
What has he done? What's wrong with him? Why would
I'll
he?
be dragged into the steel
Yeah.
cell.
The scenarios were running through.
Oh
your
yeah.
head.
Well, the first one is, where am I getting the 10,000? Let's just start with that. Let's start with that scenario first of all.
You know what? You're resourceful.
Yeah.
You should make it happen.
Well, you know what? Okay, so it went to 11,000. We're like, great. And the person
You notice
that
he
was
said, we're.
Yeah. This is a team effort.
Right.
once they got that done, the gentleman that had been announcing, hey, he comes over and goes, hey, we have one more left. Would you like that one? No, I don't need that one. No. I wanted that one.
No.
For someone.
Yeah. My limit was 10K,
Yeah,
buddy.
exactly. 10K is exactly right. So yeah, but that was something that I could see.
And I would never do that.
Yeah.
Ever. Do you value experiences? Like, would that have been an experience for you though to go to the Final Four?
Yeah, I think it's certainly something as big as that would be certainly an experience, but I'm not a huge Final Four, watch it on TV. I mean, if you're not sitting on the court or close by or
Yeah. It's not worth it.
lots of people.
Okay, let's back up on how you guys were invited to the Basketball Hall of Fame dinner. How did that?
Well, we were hosted by Troon, or I should say Papago.
Okay.
So they bought a spot in the tournament. So,
okay.
And so Mr. Colangelo's certainly an icon in the Valley, and he is somebody that you'd like to support, and so we did it. So Derek and I played with two other folks from Troon, and it was a fun evening, and then a fun day of golf as well.
And we played with they were fivesomes. So we played with Tubby Smith, who coached for 3 or 4.
Kentucky, yeah. He won
a national championship.
Super nice guy.
Great guy. Really, really a lot of fun.
I don't know basketball. I know Caitlin Clark, and that's it.
She plays basketball.
Yeah.
She does.
Yeah.
She does.
Now, do you know any male basketball holders or just female?
I mean, yes, I do.
Okay.
I do. But I mean, am I going to go to the WNBA playoffs if they come around here? I don't even know if that's possible. Again, I don't know anything. But if Caitlin Clark circles around, I'm gonna.
You're going- yeah, you might
I'm gonna
see that.
StubHub that ticket.
And what do you think about what she's brought?
I think it's quite something. It's amazing how one individual can kind of upturn a whole league like that. I mean, Tiger Woods did it, but it's.
But this is pretty amazing.
You think?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
There are very good players in the WNBA.
Absolutely.
But they weren't able to create this that she has. A lot of it came from what she did obviously at college. Yeah, and it's
Just the leading scorer ever.
Yeah.
Men, women, doesn't matter. All of it.
And she's,
That's charisma.
moved up into professional, and she's still got the game. I
Yeah,
mean,
has
it's like
lots of stuff.
she's never stopped.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
She's got serious game is what she's got.
All right, so let's talk about how you guys got in the golf industry. I mean, Daryl, prior to us pushing record, you were getting exhausted at my Instagram stories. But I looking at how long you've been in the golf business and all the different avenues that you have done to participate in the golf industry, it's a lot. It's a lot.
It's like just luck.
It's not just luck.
I think everybody that I know gets into the golf business because they like golf. I don't know anyone that's gotten into the golf business and said, hey, that looks like a great thing to be involved in. I think I'll just do that. So I think you start playing, you start playing golf, and for like a lot of people, it just grabs you and holds you. We started playing when we were in Little League, and we had friends that played Little League with that were golfers as well. So this is 11, 12, 13 kind of. We got hooked. I mean, we grew up playing municipal golf at Encanto, and it was one of those, the parents would drop you off and we'll see you and pick us up later, and we would just make a day of it.
Do you think it made it that much better doing it together? Because golf is pretty lonely. And at least for my kids, I started them off in junior golf, and they didn't have a lot of buddies there. And, it's couldn't be lonely out there just banging balls on the range and being out there at time.
Yeah, I think that we were lucky. I mean, when you're born together, identical twins, you've got a best friend for life right from the start. So you don't have to create or meet people. And so when we went to the golf course, it was the two of us. We had our own matches together, whether it be putting contests, chipping contests, all those things. And so I would agree with you. It was already special anyway. But you're right about golf. It can be lonely.
Isolating.
Isolating, yeah. Growing up and getting into the game at the same time. Because a lot of times people go, well, how'd you get in the same business? It's just like, I'm trying to think how we wouldn't be, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think we just followed each other. And one thing just kind of leads to another thing, right? It just kind of happens that way. And so you play and you get better and you think, oh, this is kind of cool. Maybe we'll play in high school. And we went to St. Mary's. They didn't have a golf team, and we started one in our junior year, so that was fun. I eventually graduated, went to Phoenix College for a couple of years, played golf there, walked on at ASU. And all this time you're thinking, maybe. So played a little bit of ASU, turned pro 1980, 81 or something. You're working in the golf business and trying to play as well and playing in mini tour stuff, things like that. But I think we figured out, early on that we were either going to be professional golfers or golf professionals. That was our path. And it was this golf path, and one was going to go left to professional golf and one was going to go right to being golf professionals and being in the golf business. So here's where we are.
Yeah. So what was the first job in the golf business?
Was it McCormick Ranch?
Yeah.
McCormick Ranch.
Both you guys, McCormick Ranch.
And everybody starts in the bag room.
Bag room.
Right.
Bag room. But Daryl, didn't we? I remember we were always trying to figure out ways, because we've always had this service attitude.
Yeah.
And so we started parking cars for the people kind of driving up. We park cars for the members.
That's just something you guys started.
Yeah. And we knew we could make a little money doing that.
That's all right.
But those are the things that we always have looked at. How can we exceed someone's expectation? But McCormick Ranch, and then I think the Orange Tree was next, and then we were both there together, and I was in the bag room. Daryl was there first, and then I got there right after. I stayed in the bag room and ended up being the manager. Daryl went up into the golf shop before I went up there, and so a lot of times people would go, Daryl, I'd go out, grab their clubs, put them on a cart. They'd walk in the shop, give Daryl a couple dollars, and it's like, well, wait a minute, that's the wrong guy. Whoa, no.
There.
Yeah.
Do I have a bow tie on? No.
So we were there for 7 years, and then Daryl went to Alta Mesa as the head professional.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I went to Gainey Ranch. And then both of us were there for a few years at each place. We were Class A professionals at that point. And then I got asked to be the PGA Tour representative for Ping, taking care of the tour players. And then a few months later, Daryl got asked to be on the European side. So he was in Europe doing the same thing. So we were confusing people because a lot of the European players would come to the U.S. to play in majors and things like that, going, "Hey, Daryl, what are you doing here?" Well, I'm not Daryl.
Yeah.
Daryl's over there across the pond right now. So
Okay, so let's talk about the club fitting aspect for a second until we delve into the managing side. So other than travel, what were some things you liked about the club fitting? Working with the professional golfers,
Well, if you love golf and you couldn't get to that place, you tried, but you couldn't get there. Well, the next best thing is to be hanging with them.
Yeah.
So different. The European tour is certainly not what it is today, what it was back then. But there certainly were the great Hall of Famers that are there now, the Faldos and the Woosnams, and those types of names that were there were playing. So being around them was fun. I think it's unique being in that environment. I think getting to know so many different people and so many different cultures and traveling to so many different countries and playing some golf that I probably wouldn't have a chance to play. I hadn't had a chance to play before at courses. So you would know about that, playing over in all over the world. But it was hard. I mean, it was hard from perspective of I've lived in Phoenix my whole life. I'm going to some place across the pond where it doesn't warm up, and it's not warm until you get to the south of Spain and it's June.
Yeah.
So, and they're playing all year long and it's cold and wet and cloudy. And
I know
rainy.
we are wimps.
Yeah,
now,
we
aren't
100%. 100%. So, but I think the other part was fun was that there was, I could walk out on the practice tee. I could grab a club out of Vijay Singh's bag and hit some shots or something and ask him questions. You were there recruiting, supporting, looking after, trying to create more Ping players out there. So that was, very, 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 very fun.
Were you ever kind of awestruck or like amazed at how hard the professional golfers work?
I wasn't awestruck because
you
knew that's what
you knew that it takes a lot.
100%. I mean, Vijay Singh would hit, oh my gosh, ball after ball after ball after ball after ball. Yeah, I mean, they wanted to be great as well. I mean, there's so many of those players. So yeah, I knew that it didn't surprise me at all.
Mm-hmm.
Daryl had it, I think, a little
tougher.
Yeah, I mean, traveling U.S. Yes, we're both from here, but you're usually going. You're not traveling when you're going to an event. Usually, the weather is going to be fairly decent. He's traveling in a place where he doesn't even know where he'll tell you a story that he was going to.
I got lost every day.
Yeah,
some of the stories are beyond.
But the one where he was going to go play golf with someone, he turned left instead of right, and then he was gone for 2 hours, and
I know. I'm back in the day when you needed a map.
Yeah, exactly. So it was just, but for
oh my God, that is terrifying. Actually,
I'm driving on the wrong side of the road, putting diesel in all those things. I did those. Yeah.
But
you're
it's
still
very,
so young at the time too, right? I mean,
depends on your definition of young. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. So how'd that end? How did you transition back into the management spot?
When I was still working for Ping, I decided that I wanted to. I had an opportunity to go work for OB Sports as the retail manager or their national retail manager, right? For their just growing their properties. And Phil Green, who I knew grew up in the golf business with, worked with me at Orange Tree, had become going to be a principal with the company. And so he said, we're getting bigger and adding more clubs. Do you want to come over and be our retail manager? Now, the only thing I know about retail is I like clothes. That was the extent of my knowledge. And I said, Phil, are you sure sure, we want you to do that. So I moved to Seattle. We moved to Seattle. My wife and I moved to Seattle. And it was a great job. I mean, I was traveling to the different properties, had a chance. The first year I was there, Izod took me and my wife to the Masters. that was super, super, super ridiculous school.
Yeah.
So, and all, with golf, all these great experiences, all these things that happen right around it. And living in Seattle was interesting because it was more like Europe and not as much like Phoenix, but it was beautiful. And the city is gorgeous, a lot of up and down, remind me of San Francisco. They have mountains there, like real mount things that are, when you flying in, they're like, you're going to run into them on the jets are going to run into them.
I mean, not like the Buttes.
Exactly.
Right there.
But Orrin Vincent and Bob Marshall were the principals, and two of the greatest people that I've ever met in my life. So super, super cool experience. And then eventually they decided to move the office back to Scottsdale. I decided I wanted to get back into the golf business and moved to one of their properties in Las Vegas as the general manager. So getting back into golf after thinking that I was going to work at Ping, and I'm 30, that's 30 years, 40 years in, like everybody does there, and sticks around, and I would be there forever. And then
you transitioned back into golf management.
Exactly.
How about you, Derek? How did you transition from Ping back to management?
Went from that to I went to ASU Carson and was doing the director of sales, doing events there, and then was there. That was before they'd had a club. I mean, this is a long time ago. And then I went from there to Greyhawk, and I was going to do kind of the same thing. We were doing events, and then Bob Berg with CMC called me and said, "Hey, why don't you come sell for us?" And that time they had Rossi caps, they had shafts. They were into a lot of different things golf wise. And so I did that with Bob, and then eventually I got back in on the side of working at a golf course. And
you're not going to believe this, but after I wanted to come back to Phoenix,
you're like, so I'm done with the weather.
I'm done with. I went from Seattle to Vegas, coming back. I want to get back home to Phoenix, and where did I go? Ping. Went back to Ping.
Wow, it is a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
I forgot about that.
That resume is 2 pages long, Daryl.
I went back to Ping, and then I was at Stone Creek before I went to Ping.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I went to Stone Creek after he was there.
Yeah.
I did.
It's so confusing after a while. But so I go back to Ping. I only stayed there for like a year and a half. Got another hey Daryl, do you want to? And that's when I went to ASU Carson. So I was at ASU Carson for 11 years. So after Derek, so we just kind of
followed each other
around. Exactly.
And really you circled back to Papago and worked there together.
Yeah, exactly.
In the trailer. See, everyone just sees the finished product now. They don't realize what we endured.
They have no idea.
11 years ago.
No, they have no idea how tremendous what they have now. But
no, it's the best.
This game has provided a lot to Daryl and I. I mean, a tremendous amount of, whether we was traveling and meeting some really, really, really good people that have stayed friends for a long time.
Well, that's what golf is, right? I mean, there's just teaches you a lot, and it seems like you're 3 people away from somebody that you know because of golf.
No, absolutely. Yeah. So you both were awarded at the same time the Ed Updegraff Award from the Arizona Golf Association, which is, the meaning of that is a true ambassador of the game. What did you think about it? I mean, that must have felt amazing.
Amazing? Amazing? Like over the frickin' moon.
Yes.
Amazing. Of any of an award that could be bestowed on you by the Arizona Golf Association, that's the one. What an honor. What an incredible honor for us. And for us.
Yeah, so you could do it together.
That was so cool to be at the ceremony and seeing all these people that we knew in the audience that we'd grown up with in golf, and having my mom was there, my sister was there, my family was there. I mean, it was, when I think about that, and I have the thing in my office, I look at that, other than my fat face on it, because it.
But that copper metal
and that
makes
it awful. But
the bus.
Yeah.
You mean?
Yeah. So, but it's such a, whenever I look at that, I just it gives me such a great feeling.
I think that, I would obviously concur with Daryl that when we were called and said, you won the award, it's just like,
Really?
yeah.
Yeah.
And as you think about it, and what it meant, the service, and all those things, and so it was great that people who decided to choose us thought we were, a perfect fit for that. I mean, and not that anyone else that wins it goes forward or has won it the same thing, but it was just, it did mean a whole lot in that all the people that were there, like Daryl's saying, that we'd grown up with, and the people that said, yeah, you should have got it,
well,
which was really nice in that regards. We would never, but that's, it was kind of nice to hear that.
That's why it's such an honor.
Yeah.
And Dr. Updegraff, you're getting his award.
Yeah.
And gentleman, great player, just humanitarian and humble. And, whenever you hear that name and people talk about it, it just is I'm in awe of what that deal is.
Yeah, as you should.
Thanks.
It's an honor. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, T.
Okay, so I want to do a little behind the scenes. I love a behind the scenes. Let's open the curtain, Daryl. Let's open it up.
Oh, boy.
Open the office door that's always closed at Papago.
Yeah.
Just do a little peeking. Just do a little peeking. Okay? There is a picture of me in his office with Molly.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, that's
You
on
ever seen
the.
that?
Yeah, that's on when you're walking on the right hand side.
At Updegraff Award.
Yep.
Yeah.
There we go.
Me and Molly.
There we go.
Let's
There
go.
we go.
Okay, so I thought we would go through a couple things because the title of the show is things you might not know about when you're running a golf club. Okay, and so I don't know. I was just going to throw some topics out there and we kind of chat about them, and I'm sure I will learn a little bit, as will the listener.
I doubt.
Yeah, I will. I will. Okay, so I don't know why the range is the first thing that comes to mind, the golf range. So let's go there. Now, is your club, Coldwater Golf Club, is that a member
No,
facility?
it's a daily fee.
Oh, it's a public.
So,
Okay. Okay, so is that what you call it? In the daily fee club or membership club? What would be the other?
Well, private, daily fee, municipal, public,
Resort.
I would. Resort.
Okay, wait.
Daily fee and resort.
Private, daily fee, resort are kind of the same thing. And then municipal. So the city owns it.
Yeah.
State.
Yeah. City, county, maybe, but mostly city,
Daily.
municipality.
Yeah, see, I've never heard that before. I like it. Okay, so the range. How often are we switching out the balls?
Well, for us, in fact, that's funny. We got new range balls. Well, we're getting them tomorrow.
Okay.
And we'll use them through probably the season for us sometime in April.
Wow.
And then box them up and
What do you do
for
with
us, and then save them because we might want to reuse them.
No, stop. Why would you want to use old range balls?
Well, it's a long story. Not every golf course gets brand new range balls.
Okay, so then let's
that's
back
another
up a
thing,
little
yeah.
bit. What is the process like? Who is manufacturing the range balls? Is it the ball manufacturers and they just have a separate department of...
Well, you can get range balls from, like you're saying, whether it be Titleist has range balls or TaylorMade has range balls, depending on. But you can get range balls. You can get some like Daryl has limited flight balls because they can't go as far.
We don't have them.
You don't look like them.
We used to have them at.
I was going to say, if someone can go
yeah,
over
no.
that butte.
No, you're right. I was thinking Carson. Yeah, I forget the Papago, but there are all different avenues to get range balls.
And how many do you order?
6,000.
6,000. Daryl, same.
Yeah,
Is that pretty typical?
6 to
500
7. I mean, it depends on the size of the practice facility. Some place like Greyhawk has 36 holes. So you're going to order more practice balls depending on the type of facility. Daily fee, resort, private. You're going to want your guest or member to be hitting as close to brand new balls as often as you can. So they might be ordering more balls.
Yeah, more frequently.
I think, Troon has a great relationship with Callaway. So we order Callaway practice balls, and we basically have 2 shipments, one that we bring out right when we open up from overseeding, and then some when we are starting our springs, March, April for another shipment of balls. The ASU team uses Titleist, so they're getting balls rotated through quite a bit as well. So, it depends on how much are you charging for a basket of balls? How much, what does the practice tee look like? How many stations do you have? How often do you pick up the balls? And how difficult is it to go pick up the balls? I mean, I think, the people come to a place not just to play golf. I mean, the practice areas is an important part of the business from a revenue perspective, but also from a service perspective. So having a nice place to chip and putt and good turf to hit off of and good balls to practice, to use for practice. So that's super important.
Do you change the amount of stalls you have?
For us, we have about 20 stalls, and that's it. We're all, every day we're off of mats.
Oh, you are?
Yeah. Bummer. You could never hit a bad shot off a mat.
Exactly. Yeah. But then you get tendonitis too.
Okay, well, you said that. I didn't say that. That sounds like someone that practices a lot of what it sounds like to me. Or just plays golf a lot. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about mats versus grass, because you have both.
Right, we have both.
So from a superintendent, that would be the right word, right? Yeah. The course superintendent, from their perspective, how often are they going grass, mat?
So,
and do you have any feedback on that?
100%. So for us, the reason we have artificial and turf is because it's a busy place. So, and because you don't have as much turf as you'd like, you're trying to save it as much as you can. So we are on artificial Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, basically for 9 months out of the year. The summertime, because the Bermuda grass just grows and grows and grows, and it's not as busy in terms of people smashing balls. The other days, Thursday through Sunday, we're on the turf areas. And when we come out of overseeding, that ryegrass is still a little bit tender. So we end up probably staying on that a couple weeks longer after we come out of overseeding, stay on the artificial surface for a couple weeks after, just so we can let that ryegrass really establish itself.
Yeah.
But I would also say the artificial turf, technology is technology. I mean, better golf balls, better turf, artificial turf to hit off of, so you don't have that tendonitis.
Yeah, it's getting better.
It's not, where you're just putting a piece of artificial turf on cement and go right ahead.
No.
Yeah.
How often do you change the turf, your artificial turf?
We have changed it. Let's see. You can change it every year. It depends, but a lot of it depends on how much you get. I mean, he's in a whole different ball game than I am. And other golf courses just in general. Not everyone's going to have the business that, say, Papago's going to have for sure. Yeah. So it just depends on how much business you do have. And they're not cheap. So if you can save them a little bit longer, you're going to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's go into tee times. What's the normal tee time gap? 8 minutes?
Normal for, again, it depends on your business model. Depends on the type
tell
of
us what you think.
For us, it's 9 minutes, 9 or 10 minutes. Yeah.
That's generous.
Well, it's kind of been that way for a while, and we've kind of gone back and forth of 9 or 10 minutes, depending on where we are season wise. It always goes back to two things: what's your business model, what's your plan, and tee times. I think the thing that people need to really understand is that you have this tee sheet and you're trying to maximize that from a daily perspective, the use of those tee times. But once they don't get used, you don't get to transfer them to the next day. They're gone. They're gone forever. So maximizing that. So that's important. But just as important is the quality of the experience. If you're trying to just jam golfers in there,
it's miserable.
Going every 7 or 8 minutes, you might make more money. But the whole idea from my perspective is, how do we create an experience where people feel like they got more than they asked for, and that we can create a long-term relationship with them? There's no value. There's zero value in having a deal or 7-minute intervals, or just get them out there one time. And the whole deal is to make your guests create long-term relationships with those guests.
Yeah.
We're at 8 minutes, so we're in a different ball game. And if you think about it, so that's 70 times an hour. That's 28 players. You can start doing some math and trying to You want to, as Daryl's saying, you want to maximize the tee sheet, but the experience is extremely important as well, because you do want to have a situation where they're coming back. They're not going, I'm not going to go back there. Mm-hmm. You that's why you have, it's not like, I don't care if you go Weekapatas every 10 minutes. It doesn't matter to me, how far apart they are, because you can have a slow day whether you have 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 8 minutes, or whatever. So that's why you have people that are attendants that can help with play. You play enough golf, you understand that. Mm-hmm. But you only have to do 3 things really well to be successful. And I mean in the golf business, it could be different for others. But if you have a good product, that would be the golf course. Because someone's, as much as people like Daryl and I, they're coming because the golf course, oh, it's Papco, it's in great shape. We're going to Coldwater, oh, it's in great shape. So that's one thing. But you got to have a good superintendent to have a good product, fair price, mm-hmm. and then exceed their expectations and truly exceed. Sometimes I think what you might consider exceeding expectations, what we might are
2 different things.
Yeah. Daryl just went out, he had to go to Ping. He said, I'm going to go grab the guy's driver. I can't get it. Well, I'll just go get it for you. I mean, just those types of things that
helps you build a relationship with the customer.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just, again, showing you want to exceed. Oh, I can't believe they would do that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We love that.
So let's go back to pre-COVID. Okay, when golf wasn't the best thing to do. Well, we knew it was, but it was kind of like a secret society. You know what I mean? Now everyone wants in. Anyway, what is the strategy behind, like, okay, we only have 25% of the tee times reserved. How can we get other business? Like, is that a thing? Like, are you guys trying to get more business? Like, what's the marketing behind that?
Well, when you say pre-COVID, or what happened when COVID hit, or are you saying what were you doing?
Well, I guess I just envision it now, like tee times go pretty easily. Maybe I'm not.
Well, I mean, no. I would say that we certainly had a burst, right?
Okay.
Pre-COVID, when that first happened, I was like, this is not good. People are going to bunker down. They're not going to go outside. Mm-hmm. They're going to be deathly afraid. Restaurants aren't going to be open, and it's going to be takeout, and we're good. Yeah. And I'm just thinking, yeah, this is not good. So what happened? The exact opposite. Mm-hmm. Like, eventually people said, man, I can't do this. I can't just, and then, you had people saying it's okay to be outside. Golf was the perfect sport to be able to, get your social distance, your personal space. You had, certainly you started doing a lot of single rider golf cars and all the things that, putting up
the
plastic screen and those kinds of things, right? And you start thinking about, when the restaurant was closed, we had people that were our managers were working the refreshment car. And so you figure things out. But then everything, opened up. People were like, gosh, this golf thing, wow, this is kind of nice being outside, number one. Number two, I didn't think it was going to be fun. Okay, that's great. All these people's instruction, buying clubs, joining memberships, joining clubs, having memberships, tournaments.
It just skyrocketed.
Right? So I think things have kind of finally flattened out a little bit, but it was such a great push to get people back in that had been in that left and bringing new people to the game, which has been incredible for all of us that are in the industry. So
is there any stress about selling tee times?
Well,
we're in Arizona. Yes.
Yeah. Depends on what time of year,
because the goal is to have all of them reserved, right?
Mm-hmm. Competition.
So do you have, like, when you make your budget at the beginning of the year, do you make like a goal of, okay, I want this many tee times booked a year or per month?
For us, it's just revenue. I mean, to me, you're looking at the end of the day, I've got expenses and I'm going to make revenues, and here's my expenses. So not that you don't want to fill your tee sheet, But you look at it from a standpoint of how much money did I make that day bring in, whether it be golf, whether it be range, whether it be sold merchandise, whether it be the restaurant. So it all kind of goes together. But it's not so much just, you can't just say, I got to sell my tee times, because there's so much more to it and so much more that goes with it. Because if you don't sell as many tee times, then you're not going to sell as many range balls. You're not going to sell as many golf balls in the golf shop. You're not going to have more people drinking and eating and all those things that go along with that. So it kind of goes both ways. We always try to just do better than we did the year before, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's his.
I agree. I mean, I think in the budgeting process, everybody's a little bit different. So you're certainly looking at history and looking where your rounds were, but it does come down to a revenue number. And so how many rounds at what average rate would be important. The rounds are important because you do, as Derek said, if your rounds tie into retail, your rounds tie into food and beverage, you only have 3 revenue categories. So golf, retail, and food and beverage. And golf is obviously super important. Certainly with the advent of Lou's, food and beverage has skyrocketed at Papago. But when you're going through that process, you're certainly looking at where you'd like to be. How does the number of rounds equate to the quality of the experience, the quality of the golf course, and that sort of thing? Back in the day, Papago was running 70,000 and 80,000 rounds a year through the golf course. I mean, I don't even know how in the world they could.
Is that a lot? Sorry. What are we both doing right now?
We're going to be right around 55,000 rounds.
55,000 rounds?
We're going to be more like probably 40.
40.
Yeah.
And so they were running 70 to 80 rounds.
Crazy. And this is way back, like the golf course opened in 63. So in the late 60s, early 70s. But remember, the number of golf courses in the Valley has grown significantly since that time. And so the hard part is like we were just chatting about, is you have all this competition that's out there, and everybody's trying to do exactly the same thing that you're doing, and you're hoping to take advantage of the things that you have, right? The things that your central location, the unique setting that you're in, the proximity to the airport, Lou's as this amenity that only started to be in 6 or 7 years ago. Having the ASU golf team, home of ASU golf, is hugely important for us. But at the end of the day, you have to have a mantra, a real understanding and a real belief that, and it starts from the top down, is Tori decided to come play golf at Papago today. Tori decided to play golf there for whatever reason she decided to play golf there. She could have gone to 30, 40, 50, 60 other places to play golf. But today, she decided to come to Papago. So from our perspective, that's important. If we're not grateful for that, for her making that choice, then there's something wrong. If we're not doing all we can to make sure that she knows how grateful we are that she made that choice, we're doing something wrong. At every moment of every experience that you can engage Tori to say thank you, to find out if there's anything else they can do for you, to make sure that the setting is impeccable and the greens are mowed and there's no trash in the ground and the retail store looks great and the food's. If we're not doing all those things, then we're not going to win. We're just not going to. And that's what you have to do to compete in our world. We have to be.
You have to stand out.
We have to stand out, and we have to stand out every single day in every single experience. And the hard part is we're going to make some bogeys. We're going to miss a tee time. We're going to book an event on a wrong day, and then it comes down to how do you fix that?
Yep.
How do you turn that into something different?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's every golf course. Everything that Daryl just said, every golf course, or at least the facility that I'm at now, we have those same attitudes. Whether you're going to Daryl's place and you're paying $200 in March, as opposed to $95 at mine, or $350 at Graf, or $500 at. So you have all these different. It could be more than that. Yeah, right. But you have all these different. Someone's coming to you and saying, "Here, I want you to take my money. Here, I'm going to give this to you." That means something. And we better be able to provide something, as Daryl was saying, for that. And it needs to exceed whatever. I know I keep saying it. I think Daryl would say the same thing. We want to always exceed, always. always.
And we're coming to play golf and be outside and enjoy, like to almost escape for 4 hours.
100%.
You know?
100%.
Okay, well let's transition into greens fees then, and the fluctuation of it all. So then I'm thinking you have this revenue goal per month, per year, what have you. And so you got to divvy up, you got to make the money where you can. Hence the increased pricing in peak times. And then tell us, how do you strategize with that?
I think, again, you look back at what you've done in the past. You look at your competition, what they're doing, who you think you compete against.
I'd be curious to know who you think your competition is. Like, you obviously have a Papago player in mind, someone that plays Papago. So what other courses are they looking at?
I think when I think about our competition and what we provide in terms of services, quality of the golf experience, amenities. I mean, I do think that daily fee or resort style courses are more our competition. So whether that's Stone Creek or Orange Tree or Raven or the Legacy, I think it's tough to say that we compete against Greyhawk.
I think you do.
True North, but we do from a perspective of maybe there's the opportunity for a value for what we can provide at Papago that people would certainly look at that, and that's who I think we can compete against. That's not to say that we don't also compete against the other municipal golf courses, the city golf courses here in the valley as well, which are continuing. Everything is going up. The quality is going up across the board. So you also, I think you never want to be in a position where people go, I think you just crossed the line there. I mean, like, we all know what it's like during Waste Management Week, and I think most people that come into the valley, they know that their flights are going to be more, and their hotels are going to be more, and their food's going to be more, and golf's going to be more. And so you want to get to a place where you have that. There is no other week out of the 52 that's like that week or that 8-day window where you have that opportunity to make hay. And I think everybody
premium price.
People understand that, right?
Yeah.
It's the Super Bowl of literally the Super Bowl of. And so it's not like we're going to go, okay, let's just go with 400. Well, of course we're not going to do that. So you just want to get to a place where you feel like you're looking at what everybody else is doing and try to find a sweet spot that makes sense for you, that people will still say, because remember, people are still thinking, if they haven't played there, that Papago is a municipal golf course.
You think they're thinking that?
I still think, I think people go, look, it's the City of Phoenix asset. And so I still think that people who've never been there before, who are becoming with somebody else, and they get there and they go, well, this doesn't quite look like the municipal golf that I was thinking it was going to be. Because I do think that there's this mentality that municipal golf may be less than, whether it's the quality of the golf or the experience or the service levels or the quality of the food and that sort of thing. But I think that between Papago and the rest of the municipal golf courses, they're going, oh, well, that's
pretty nice.
That's what it could look like. But you'd asked about pricing, so I mean, you just kind of look and see where you're at before and how it works with your budget, and try not to act like you're being greedy, because you always want to feel like Tori wants to feel like she got more, just like Derek said, more than she thought she was going to get.
Yeah.
There's competition. And the thing is, when we talk about, from November through April in the Valley, Phoenix, Scottsdale, there's plenty of people here. We're in a little different situation as far as where we are. We're on the west side of town, so we tend to have more locals. We have a nice group of Canadians that will come down and stay and play the golf course there. And so you can't just decide. You still are going to compete with those people that are in the area. I'm not competing with Daryl. I'm not even competing with in Cano or something like that. They're not even in our area because there's so many people. There's so many people here and so much to choose from. from a standpoint of inventory and not having to drive too far. Now you switch that over and you go, because I think, hey, 7 months out of the year, you got to make your hay. 5 months, you just hold on and see what you can do.
That's what I would think.
But what happens for us, we're going to have our $25, $30 rate in the summertime. But here's what happens to us or daily fees that may charge that. All of a sudden, everyone thinks, well, you're not in competition with a Grayok or a Papago. Yeah, you are, because they know they've got to. Hey, they got to get golfers there in the summertime. So now the guy goes, hey, I could play Grayok for $50. I'd never been able to play Grayok. So I'll drive to Grayok and pay, instead of playing Coldwater, I pay a little bit more. So it's very competitive, but I think it's really competitive in the warmer times of the year, off months, because of that. Because the golf course isn't closed. Mm-hmm. So,
and if I can just add, I want to, Papago, we grew up playing municipal golf, city golf, and the importance of having a place for locals to say, this is my club. And so the city card, the people that are part of the Papago Men's Golf Association, Papago Women's Golf Association, those individuals who have been playing there for decades are so important for the success of Papago, without question. So it's way more than just that window of time where where there are a lot of tourists in the valley. Mm-hmm. The support that we get from the locals, that they're a super important group for us for them to be able to say, that's my place, that's my home.
So I'm going to go off in a little bit of we're going to make a turn just for a second, okay? And not as dangerous of a turn as he did in Europe, but just a little, like where we have our own GPS. So you said you grew up playing it in Canto, okay? Papago and Canto, Aguila, Cave Creek. Am I missing one? GCU and the little par 3 course. I forgot what its name.
Palo Verde.
Which one of those is the toughest for you to play now? Like which course eats you up a little bit?
Oh, well, I look
when it's playing at its best.
Okay. Well, Papago. For me. But Papago and Aguila are the two that kind of go back and forth. When you look at the number of municipal golf courses that we have here, there's some really good golf.
Excellent.
We're very, very fortunate. When we were growing up, everybody wanted to go to Papago because it was all the best players were at Papago.
Really? Okay.
Because it was hard and challenging, and ASU played there obviously well before ASU Carson was built. So the Joe Porters and the Howard Twitties and all these standouts that played the tour, Arch Watkins and Scott Watkins, so Heather and Missy Farr, and so
Billy Mayfair.
Yeah, that was and that still is an iconic place. But Papago and Aguila, I think, are the two that stand up. Now, they did a great renovation at GCU. I don't know, has it been 10 years now?
Yeah, I feel like it's been a while.
Yeah.
But we went to some golf schools there way back in the day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
When it was,
I don't know. I think Cave Creek screens are a little, those are tough.
I don't know. I'm trying to remember the last time we played there, or I played there.
The last time we played there was actually
30 years ago.
It wasn't that.
Okay, I know you guys play every Sunday. That's got to be it. And I want to know how you guys did. I want to know who wins.
Oh.
Come on. I think it's time to... What? Are you guys not playing?
Well, first of all, we don't play every Sunday. We try to play every Sunday.
Okay,
occasionally.
The Sunday.
Okay.
I think you should go to Cave Creek.
We have two things going on Sunday. Daryl and I have our own individual match.
Okay.
And then his partner and my partner play a match as well.
Okay.
We lost one down Sunday.
Yesterday.
2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Daryl beat me we played over at Weekopaw.
Oh.
A real treat.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Daryl beat me again for like the 72nd time in a row. It's just, it's like, oh, hey, nice, hey, congratulations.
Well, you had that 12-minute break, which it was.
Geez. So,
which it was 32 minutes. I would have had more time to train.
Yeah. So, but that's, that's really, we've been doing that for a long time, playing on Sunday, and it's really important to us. Like, because we work 6 days a week. So, that's your one day that you get.
No, I love that you guys play every Sunday.
Yeah. It's, and we're lucky enough to be able to play courses, not just our own courses, but the Weekapaws and the wherever.
Yeah, Talking Stick or whatever. But
they've all been there. Everyone there at any of the facilities have been so kind to us and letting us play.
It's a treat.
Well, promise me just one time.
Okay,
Naked Cave Creek.
yes.
You gotta go back there.
I will.
We got to talk to Jeff. Should we? We'll call
Where's
Jeff. And ask.
I don't even know who Jeff is, but give him a call. Okay, let's go back.
Okay.
Retail. Let's talk about it.
That's hard. That's hard.
It is hard.
Super hard.
Can you tell us why it's so hard? Because obviously we as women complain that the women's section is so small. There's limited quantities. There's limited sizing. The men's section is always, big, and there's polo shirts everywhere. I mean, every color and pattern that you want of a men's polo, they're always there. But then the women's section is very small. Now, I'm not saying at Papago is great. You guys do a great job. But I'm just saying in general. So tell us why it's difficult. Tell us.
I think a part of it right from the start is you have, for every foursome that walks in the door, how many are going to be of that foursome? How many are male? How many are female? I mean, if every one of them was female, or three of the four, you'd see more women's clothes than men's clothes. I mean, that's just, I'm simplifying it.
And I appreciate that.
But I do think that, and we at Coldwater, we have one women's group, and we get ladies to play the golf courses. Well, not near what he might get. So we try to, within reason, we got to have product that we want them to be able to walk in and say, oh, look,
because it's still revenue.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's still harder to buy because they think differently.
Buying? Yes, are you the buyer?
Yes. That is
hard.
But I do talk to the people I buy from. Are female.
I'm not the buyer.
I know you're not the buyer.
But yes.
But I imagine that is hard.
Yeah. So I'm talking to Lynn Drendel from Under Armour. Hey, Lynn, what have you got? What do you think that you have to? You just have to do that. I mean, I
appreciate it.
We know. I think Daryl and I, we know what we think is going to be nice. We think we know how to dress, so we should be able to pick out things within reason. But it's not. But it's not the easiest thing.
Well, Tori, you know why it's hard. I mean, like so it's like a vicious circle. Like, so what Dirk just described is okay. So who's coming to your retail store? What's the percentage of male versus female?
Which is valid,
right? So you're going to make sure that your store has the right amount to service that guest versus this guest, right? So there's going to be more for men, more women. Now, if you could get more women to play golf, which we've seen a growth in that without question, then you have to, if the idea is to make sure that you're looking after your all guests to be able to provide them with things that you think they would want, then you have to buy more. I believe are more particular about what they wear.
Absolutely.
And so you have to make some guesses, and you're just going to be wrong. We're going to be wrong with men as well, but men aren't quite as particular. Polo shirt, 3-button
hat,
a pair of shorts.
Women you have to think about where you put the logo. Where, those are things that you're thinking of all different.
Yeah, put the logo or not the logo. And there's a lot of fashion. I mean, you would know all about that. I mean,
it's a lot.
So
it's hard. I get it.
It's hard, but you can't just blow it off. I mean, that's an important segment of the population, and you never want any guest to feel like you don't care about me.
Well, the largest, which you already know, the largest segment of any golfer is growing right now is women under 18 years old.
Women under 18?
Under 18.
Interesting.
Yeah. And since 2011, it's 1,000%. Over. That's
amazing.
Yeah.
How exciting.
But to me, when you think about that, if you can, because that's a whole different look, that as far as when you're buying, you're like, well, it's just a whole different ball game. I mean, you watch golf on TV, whether it be USGA, US Juniors or whatever, and what they're wearing. And yeah, it's.
And remember, you can only buy what is available. So it's certainly up to the brands to also buy in and say it's important, and golf clothes versus fashion. And do you have a golf wardrobe, ladies, golf wardrobe at your house this is my golf stuff? This is stuff that I wear out?
Yes, it is separated.
Okay.
But I wear golf clothes so much.
Okay.
It's a lot.
Do you buy
because you play so much, that's why. Yeah.
Do you buy your non-golf clothes at a golf shop?
No.
Alex's? Okay.
Yeah.
Very
Do you
good.
will you wear something that you wouldn't consider you bought at a golf course, or you would buy and wear to play golf? Like, do you like retail? Like, we just wear retail, and if it's
Yes.
Yeah. There are times where I buy something that can translate into a golf.
yes,
All right.
Okay, you guys, they're shooing me away. We've talked so much. Our time is up. Look at Daryl. It's done.
Jeez.
Okay. I don't want to get cut off before saying this. So we've had the Desert Classic now. We're going on 4 years. Daryl, we couldn't do this without you. It is the event I'm most proud of. And it's an event that is very special to a lot of people. And it honestly couldn't be what it is without a golf club supporting us as much as you do. And it's not like it's just such a genuine, like, how can I support you, this event, and all the women and players that are playing? It's amazing. So thank you. Thank you for being you, Derek. Thank you for being here.
You're very welcome. Thank you for the invite.
Will you please come again next year?
Yes, absolutely.
To DC?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank
Tori.
you.
That's very
Thank
kind.
you, Daryl.
Very kind. We're blessed to be able to host it.
Well, thanks for being here. And we might have to do a part 2. I know.